Good day, all. Ira Epstein with your metal market update, and this update is for the evening of Tuesday, the 16th of May, 2023. Now, a couple of things. I am going to be gone Thursday and Friday, not abandoning you. A short trip out of Chicago and then right back. I'll be back Sunday. Don't know if I'll be back in time. We're trying to set it up. We have plane flights. We might get one that we take a little later. We're trying to figure that out now. If I'm back on the original flight, I'll probably do something over the weekend. If not, Monday morning is when you'll see me again. We know that to be. At first, I was going to stay one extra day. We decided not to. Okay, and it's a good time for me to go because there's not a lot to do and I don't trust the markets. Now, let me explain. We did see the president meet with the congressional leaders, and the good thing that happened is the president has assigned 2 staff members. I will, in my full written research, I name them, show you who they are. They're going to interface with Mr. McCarthy's staff. They'll do the negotiations. The smartest thing you can do is take Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell out of this. The Senate doesn't belong there. The problem at this point is with the House. They got to get over the hurdles in order for Mr. McCarthy to get anything passed there. And they got to make sure they can get what they want passed. Now, Democrats keep threatening, they're going to come up with emergency measures and try to pass it. But in order to get that, they need to get 5 crossovers of Republicans. The only way that would happen is if the economy is cratering and Republicans, too, say this is craziness. I don't see that happening. What I see more likely is that, number one, while Mr. McCarthy said by this weekend there could be a deal, yeah, in theory, theories are nice, but they're not reality. Second problem, let's assume next week they get a deal done of some type of framework sometime next week. How do you get it through Congress this fast? So I'm not convinced, even if you get to a deal, that getting the arguments on the floor of both the Senate, the House, if they do revisions, threaten revisions, wherever they're going to be, you're going to get this all done by June 1st. I continue to say you work towards that goal, but in your back pocket, you have, and you talk about, if we need to go to an extension, can we do it? Can we get 2 weeks, a month, whatever it is? Nobody's going to agree to a real long one. It's got to be a short one with the funding there so that things don't happen. The markets have seen what was said. After a 300-point drop in the Dow, you're down. Now, NASDAQ has been the powerhouse all the way through. It's gaining on the industrials like something you haven't seen in a long time, and on the S&P, as people are buying into the companies that run AI. That's what's driving this, all right? People think they're going to miss the boat. If you watch Congress, they're already having the events where they're talking, how do they control AI? What are the rules going to be? Blah, blah. But we're in a metal market update here. And what happened in the metals, here you are, you got as high as 2080. You're back down $100 an ounce roughly from that. Silver's cracked under 24. What happened in copper? Did you see the growth of the economy in China? Half of what they expected. So the problem there is they're not getting the orders from abroad. They're not getting orders domestically as they expected. Copper's feeling the pressure. In the energy markets, China's become according to the IEA, the largest buyer of oil in the world now. So they buy the most copper, they buy the most oil. Wonderful, but their economy's slowing down. Biden administration, as you know, is trying to buy oil for the SPR, but 3 million barrels isn't going to be that supportive. I'm sure they're going to do it in stages, but given how much they took out of it, you realize that 3 million barrels, it's going to take you forever to rebuild. So that's going to have to get bigger. We'll see if they accept the tenders. We'll see what happens. It's a beginning, and I applaud that. I don't applaud how they've gone about it, and I was reading today so many different reports agreeing with everything I've said as to how this thing has been screwed up by them, how they're now chasing the market $6 higher when they could have been buying it, how they've lied to everything from the maintenance, they can't take oil in, to suddenly 30 days later, oh, we're ready to take bids and get the oil by August. It just doesn't make sense. All right. Bonds and notes came off the lows rather nicely intraday, but still, they're adding yield all the way through as the market is just saying, until there's a deal, you can still take this thing over the cliff. You got to be careful. And as I said, gold doesn't like what's going on. It's down 1.3% on the week, but on the daily bars, you've done some real damage to the chart with today's action. And I'll take you back here just so you can see what today's action was like. Here you are. You have a market down $29.7. The range, as you can see, you closed near the lows. And when we did this, what we ended up doing is we created lower highs and lower lows in the market. So now you've taken the market out of the uptrend into a downtrend. Where are we in relation to moving averages? You're under now the 18-day average. You had stopped there for 3 days and fought the battle, and the battle's been lost. So where on the downside, if the market's going to continue lower, would be the next support? Well, one of the supports could be the 100-day average at 1945.70, but more likely would be the closer Bollinger Band at 1977.90. So if you're asking me what I think, you're in a downtrend unless you take out 2027.50. The support in the market comes in at 1977.90, and momentum is oversold. Do I think you're going to attract a lot of new selling on an oversold? I don't. But again, this is a market that was fighting the inflation, and back here it was all about if we were going to get the Fed to move, not move, things of that nature. Now there's fear in the market that the dollar gets a bid, maybe too much of a bid, interest rates going up again, right? Those are the headwinds for the gold market. And that's what you're seeing right there. I hope that makes sense to you because a lot of people don't get that. In the gold-silver ratio, you flattened out here. Now again, 78 area got too cheap. The question is, what's too high? We don't know on this rally yet. What we know is silver is falling and it's starting to run the Bollinger Band. You were on it here. You rallied back to it approximately here. Now these other days. So this is the Gorilla Glue trade. And it's when a market latches onto that band, and until it lets it go, you just carry the market lower. People say, oh, it's oversold, it's going to bounce. Folks, never play that game. What it has going for it is the combination of support does come in at the 100-day average and the lower Bollinger Band, both about 16 cents off of where today's low is right now. Got that? In the copper market, here too, you've latched on to the Bollinger Band, and you might even embed. Now to embed, you can't count today's action, but we can certainly go to Tuesday. Both numbers, let me go here. Yeah, remember, Wednesday's what we're at right now. Both numbers under 20, both under 20 on Monday. Friday, both under 20. You're embedded. So until the market reverts course and the red line's over 21, rallies in the market will get sold, but there's something real negative happening. The 18-day average is about to try to cross the 200. That's big time bad. Short-term getting over a very long-term average. So the pros will be looking at that as your resistance point. The combination, I think, 379.55 to 383.50. It's a long way off. It's 20 cents away in round figures. It would take a heck of a lot to get that up there right away. In the platinum market, momentum has gotten the market now to a reading under 30. So intraday, remember already the next day of trading, you are oversold. You have the swing line up, but the bias down, and the bias has been down since right here. Basically Friday of last week when you closed under and you haven't been able to get back over the market. Could you make your way down to the Bollinger Band? You could, but the market's been saying, oh, it's got some resistance to wanting to break that much lower. In the palladium, you finally converted this and reverted back to the downtrend. The first challenge of the 100-day average, and I know you're going to tell me, but Ira, it was over it. Yeah, for 48 hours. And then the market got back under it, and it's finally back to the 18-day average. So I stick with my theory that the first challenge of major moving averages that you haven't hit in a short while is often, not always, a resistance point on the way up and support on the way down. The Bollinger Band's even a better resistance point. But this market's now in a downtrend that is not oversold. The pros might be selling at the 1504 level, stops over the 1547. That's a big risk, but I'm just explaining what the chart action is. And I think the dollar has serious issues up here. I said it to you earlier. This is the third day in a row where you have challenged the Bollinger Band and the 100-day average and haven't gone anywhere. I think to get it going over that and keep going, you need to get to the point where it doesn't appear there's going to be a deal on the debt ceiling. Right now, what you're at is you've come back from the abyss a bit. We see that there's some agreement. It's a very good thing that we're going to get out Mr. McConnell and Mr. Schumer out of the negotiations. They have to get out. It's got to be basically the president and McCarthy working it. And then McCarthy has to go back, and I don't know if he can. Can he sell this in the House to get a vote? How do you get that all done in 14 days? I don't think it can be done. Janet Yellen said June 1st. Now people say, oh, she's not telling the truth. She's the one that's supposed to know. We can either pay our bills up to that point or we can't. Okay? After that, that's her drop dead date. So I think you have to approach the market that this coming week is crucial to get anything done, but I still haven't figured out how much debate you need in the House and or the Senate to get all the parties to agree to pass this thing, whatever it is that they're going to pass, and we don't know what that is yet. I hate to keep talking about it that way, but that's what you're dealing with. As I said, we cover this in phenomenal detail. The Linn Group writes all day long on these factors, and I'm telling you, our reports are phenomenal. They come out, they cover this, they cover the cash markets and futures, they cover the spread markets, the option markets, charts of the day, our pivot point counts, special charts and all. All of this is free to you to give it a try. We won't keep you on it. We're not the service that, hey, once you come on, we just want to keep going and hope you eventually come to us. Won't work that way. You get to try it for 2 weeks. We'd like to give it to you. We'll deliver it into your mailbox. Pretty simple to do on an email. And you can also pick which different sectors you want. You don't have to get grains. You don't have to get energies. You pick the sectors that you want. How do you get this? Well, you sign up by going to iraepstein.com, free offers. You can move your cursor to the top here. You'll see an icon. Give that a click. And you can always call my staff and they'll get it done for you 1, 2, 3. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next videos and, of course, in the morning tomorrow on Wednesday. Take care.